Have you ever had a moment playing a video game that just makes you want to rip your hairs out and just slam your goddamn controller to the damn ground? And don't lie either, because I know that some of you are just gonna say, oh, I never get pissed off at a video game. Well, you're either a goddamn liar or you never touched a video game in your life, in which case, go play a goddamn video game. And of course, games that piss me off the most when I lose, you may think games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, League of Legends, Marvel Rivals, chess. But actually, no. I maybe get a little ticked off, but nothing compares to the games that I'll be talking about later in the video. Let's start with the new game on the block, or at the very least 2 years old compared to the others that have been over there for a decade, Marvel Rivals. Like, I suck at Marvel Rivals, but at the end of the day, I don't really get pissed off. Like, no matter how many times I die from Scarlet Witch's ult, or getting an iron fisting to the goddamn ass, like seriously, I'm just gonna say this. I stopped playing this video game, not because I kept losing and rage quitting, but because of something so petty. They made the secondary attack of Jeff limited for a stupid launch up. Like, I quit for that rework. When I heard the announcement for that rework, I just quit the game basically, and I haven't touched the game except for like that one time when they did that like Ultron event where it's like Team Fight Tactics ripoff or whatever, and only played 2 rounds of that. And to this day, I just stopped. And I swear, if I were to get a Marvel Rivals sponsorship one day, which I doubt, I would decline the offer unless they just remove the launch up from this secondary and just made the attack unlimited, because I can literally take anything else you do. Like, you can bait me with all those thirst trap skins of all the women you make and the men. I will not play that goddamn game. Like, seriously, I don't care if that secondary does only 5 damage per hit. I would take that than playing stupid garden sim in a shooter. However, this game is an example of a game I hate because they ruined my boy Jeff. And if I'm being honest, even if they did give into my demands, I'll probably play all the new characters that came out that are so much better. So now let's get to the games that should get me pissed off, but for whatever reason, I just don't. Fortnite and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, starting with the game that adds skins of AI slop. Fortnite is probably a game that everyone has probably seen enough rage clips of. The fuck you say? However, no matter how much people kill me in that game, I could care less, actually. Then again, I will say and brag that I did get my first solo victory royale within a few days on a Nintendo Switch. And I'm just satisfied with that. Then again, I'm also a goddamn filthy camper, so yeah, you can take that with you will. And I stopped playing that game after the second chapter because one of my friends was just like, yeah, bro, the game's boring now. Like, why are you playing that game, bro? And I just gave the peer pressure and I just said, alright, I stopped playing that because you think it's cringe and boring, alright. And every now and again, I will just go on my Switch, re-download that, and enjoy myself.
Colors weave into a spot.
Now let's get to Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is a game that I would say I have the most attachment to, since this is a game that I played with my friends back in the day, and it was very enjoyable. And listen, I'm just gonna say this and admit this, but I was the punching bag because, like, literally my friends would kick my ass, and in fact, one friend would 3-stock me over and over with 0 Susamas, like nothing. And if you're wondering who my main was, I'm gonna just give you the opportunity to leave a comment and take a guess. And hey, while you're there, could you like and subscribe, please? But hey, if you think this video is just mediocre and just like, yeah, it ain't worth subscribing to it, man, please just comment. Either way, I'm like very desperate right now, and I heard it's very good for the YouTube algorithm. Please. But at the end of the day, this is a game that I have grew from, and I was actually kind of good, despite the fact that I got my ass kicked by my friends. Because, listen, I'm just gonna say this, I was just the Yamcha of the group. I was just weak as hell when I was going up against them, but like if I went to anyone who was a casual, I would just obliterate them like that. But nonetheless, I don't know if it was because I was playing with friends, but I just didn't rage at all because of it. And that's despite the fact that I am literally the damn sandbag, man. I am Yamcha in this bitch, and I didn't get pissed off. Even I'm a little pissed off that I did not get pissed once at that. Damn. Now let's get to games that really fucking piss me off. Pokemon. What makes Pokemon different from the rest? Well, there's just one component in that game that the rest just don't really do. Chance. The other games, I don't really get pissed off because at the end of the day, it's mostly a skill issue, which is easy for me to use because, like, I just suck at these games. Skill issue. That's simple and nothing else. And unlike those games, Pokemon is more about chance. Because at the end of the day, you got people sweating in Call of Duty and all that, and many other games. And, you know, I just need to get better. But with Pokemon, you could literally have the guy library, like Philip, with all that knowledge and strategy that is never going to help you. You know why? Because, let me give you an idea right now. Let me give you a good example of what I mean. Oh no, you hit a low damage roll, and your chances of KO was an 87% chance. Oh no, you got hit by an ice beam, and you are now frozen. And by the way, that was a 10% chance of that happening, and your chances of thawing out is 20% each turn. Oh no, you got hit by hypnosis, a 60% accurate move, and you might as well just die since it takes 2 to 4 turns to maybe wake up. Oh no, you got hit by Attract, Confuse Ray, and Paralysis. So now you have to suffer with your simping ass Pokemon that won't fucking hit a single move for the life of God. Oh, thank God they're in red health. So I guess just one more hit and then they're fuck. And that is why everyone hates Whitney's Miltank in Pokemon Gold and Silver, because it's not because Miltank hits like a truck. That's just an added bonus. It's because this stupid cow can use Attract on your Pokemon, and if they're dudes, guess what? Doing nothing for the turn. And guess what? They also have a move called Stomp, which is, I don't know, a move that has a 30% chance of flinching, so you're fucked there as well. And also, it has a move called Rollout that ever increases over and over and over with every hit it makes. And has an accuracy of 90%, so you better hope that goddamn 10% of missing happens in your favor. And guess what? If it gets to any shade of orange, that goddamn health bar, it will just heal itself with Milk Drink. Oh, and guess what? That's just the OG Gold and Silver. We're not even talking about the remix. Miltank now gets Scrappy because guess what? Abilities are now a thing in Gen 3. So screw you and your ghost types. Oh, and if you're thinking, oh, just paralysis, poison, sleep, whatever. Oh, they gave her, I don't know what's the word. A Lumberry. So guess what, bitch? That berry solves all her problems. Like Whitney's Miltank, if it was your first blind attempt, you would be fucked. Because, I mean, you probably didn't hear anything about how hard the battle was. You didn't even prepare for the battle. And you probably just said, oh, you don't even know about the Machop over there that you could trade? And, oh yeah, you better hope that Machop is a girl because it's gonna get attracted either way. With no prep time and no knowledge, if you got beaten like her, like I described, then bloody bullshit luck if you were just somehow able to be this whining ass bitch for the first time on your first fucking attack. Oh yeah, and I didn't even get to fucking mention that even when you do win, Whitney cries like a little fucking bitch. I'm gonna fucking call her what she is, a goddamn bitch, because when you beat her ass, she goes whining like, oh my god, he fucking lost the fucking and then you fucking have to leave and shit, and then the gym trainer's just like, you should go get your badge, by the way. Oh, I fucking suffer through that fucking melting bitch just for her to cry like a whiny bitch when she finally loses? My fucking god! Okay, now that I cooled myself off, let's get to the other parts of Pokemon, which is team building. Luck is already bad, but you also have to understand that while luck is already BS as is, you also need to prepare your team for Pokemon in general. So, for the people who never touched Pokemon, let's pick a team for you. Alright, let's pick a Pokemon. You think you could just put a Rapidash on your team? You silly goose. Rapidash is in ZU tier. Oh, you don't know what ZU tier? Oh, that is the Zero Use tier. You know, where all the garbage Pokemon fight other garbage Pokemon. Oh, and don't think you can use the Galarian form. That's also ZU tier. Oh, you know, just give it to me. I'll give you the Pokemon I used, alright?
Many unbearable hours later.
Alright, now that you're done. Oh, wait. No. I'm not finished. You silly fool. You think you just put your Pokemon to battle like that? You imbecile. What moves are you going to put on your Pokemon? Oh, and don't forget, there's other stuff too. What abilities? What items are you going to give your Pokemon? Oh yeah, don't forget those pesky natures, Eevees, and Ivies as well. Oh, and thank God we're talking about Gen 9 in this example, because everything before Gen 6 was actually hell. First, you got to breed your Pokemon. Oh, you want to use your favorite Pokemon from Route 1? Or competitive? Look at those Ivies, man. They earned 31 in every goddamn Ivy. So now we're gonna have to take that Pokemon and breed it with a perfect IV Ditto. With a Destiny knot, of course. Okay, perfect. Now we got 31 in every yeah, this one's wrong. Wrong ability and wrong nature. Alright. Back to breeding! Please kill me. Well, that's too damn bad. You're gonna breed with that goddamn frog. And you're gonna take it. And even with how much easier it has been to make your Pokemon go from garbage to competitive perfection, and we're going to ignore Champ as an example, if you want to use a Trick Room team, a strategy where you want your Pokemon to be slow as possible, so they become super fast in Trick Room, well, too bad, because if one of those Pokemon just has a single Ivy that goes into speed, you're gonna have to go back to breeding and hope that goddamn next one is a 0. Oh yeah, and even with all of that, forgot one thing. There's multiple things, actually. There are over 200 good Pokemon that you can only put 6 into your team that you have to go up against and hope that you planned for that one Pokemon to not ruin your whole entire strategy. Because if that happens, Wolfie's gonna come in and sweep that whole team of yours. Oh, and let's talk about the most popular format, which is VGC doubles, where you have 6 Pokemon, but only 4 will go into that battle. So let's just hope of their 6 Pokemon, you don't pick 4 Pokemon that don't do anything to your opponent's 1 Pokemon on their team. Oh yes, and don't forget, there are moves that can mess you up as well. Let's just hope Amoonguss doesn't use Spore to put you to sleep, or Rage Power to redirect your attack that was going to be super effective on Incineroar, and as a result, it now goes to Amoonguss, who is resistant to it. And there are other forms of disruption: Fake Out, Follow Me, Hypnosis, and the most important of all, Protect. And don't forget the support moves: Light Screen, Reflect, Helping Hand, and Tailwind. And that's just the moves. Remember, the abilities can also act as support and disruption. Oh, you thought you were going to finish off that Skarmory? Well, guess what? Your opponent switched out to a Pokemon with the ability Lightning Rod, so your attack is redirected to it, and it does nothing. And then your supporting abilities like Hospitality, that heals an ally Pokemon back by 25%. Regenerator, which heals a Pokemon when it's swapped in and out. Everything you do in battle matters. The Pokemon you pick on your team, the moves, the abilities, the natures, the EVs, the IVs, using Protect for a turn, redirecting attack, disrupting with Fake Out, Spore, switching in and out as well, not to mention whether or not if your opponent does the same and what strategy and team they use as well. So now, with all of this knowledge and strategy that goes into competitive Pokemon, how much of that becomes a spit in your face when your opponent hits you with a 60% accurate move like Hypnosis that puts you to sleep to 2 to 4 turns? A punch in your face when a Pokemon hits you with an Ice Beam in just that off chance, the unfortunate 1 in 10 chance you get frozen. And it gets worst of all when you get a move like Air Slash, a 95% accurate move, and you just get unlucky with that 1 out of 20 chance of it missing. A great man once said, if it ain't 100% accurate, it's 50% accurate. So when your hit matters most, you just get unlucky. And that shot that mattered more than anything just a miss. And that was just Pokemon. We haven't even gotten to the game that's just somehow even worse. But before we get to that, let's firstly understand that even though there are over 1,000 Pokemon to pick from, and you can only put 6 in them, it really becomes way lower than you think. Because, first of all, not all of them are fully evolved. And last time I checked, you're not really going to put a Pichu on your team. Sure, there's a couple exceptions to that rule, like Porygon 2 and Dusclops, with Eviolite and all that. You're not going to put a baby on your team, so that really does lower your numbers by a large margin. Secondly, there are Pokemon that are cut out from the decks because National Dex and Dex basically screwed over a lot of those Pokemon. But it also makes it better because your numbers are even lower again. And then thirdly, and it gets even better, because guess what? Some Pokemon, despite being in the decks, are just actual garbage Pokemon to put on your team. So as a result, it goes significantly lower to the point where there's really only like 50 Pokemon that you have to think about. And sure, there's like 100 extras that may like lean in there every once in a while, swiggle their way in. But for the most part, you're not gonna worry about it because at the end of the day, not that many Pokemon to worry about. Yugioh, meanwhile, is on a whole nother level, because if you thought Pokemon was bad, Yugioh is about to make you flip your table with its bullshit, because there are thousands of cards to put into a deck, which, for context, you need at least a minimum of 40 in the main deck, 15 in the extra deck, and you're able to put 3 copies of the same card in your deck. But depending on the game, you may have to put 15 cards also in the side deck to switch in and out from. So sure, you may not play a card like, I don't know, Spark, which only does like 200 damage, but there are so many cards in this game that I doubt you remember all of their effects. And with each card that is either just bad or power crept over time, there are cards that will just break the game or are just still good to this day. But thank God there are cards like I can't read this. Like seriously, what? Look at this card text. I can't read this. But in all seriousness, it is still annoying because there are cards in this game that I just cannot understand how they work. For example, there are cards like if and when effects, which, if you're wondering why that matters, It's because with the when effects can miss timing, and depending if you're playing Master Duel or QuiLliXs, that really doesn't matter, because in the end of the day, it's very, very easy. If you mess up, you already know you messed up. But when it comes to the cardboard game, you are going to be screwed, because there are a lot of stuff like rulings effects that aren't cut and dry. So as a result, you may have two different judges who have different rulings on the same card effect as a result. And it can get annoying on whether or not your effects resolve, because of how one judge perceives the card will ruin your win. And of course, they are some that may be pissed off if your judge just doesn't know their card, especially when the card is just literally brand new. But I don't have to worry about that because I have never touched grass for Yugioh. But what pisses me off is the deck itself. The most important thing you gotta understand is, like, unlike Pokemon, where you are literally given a spreadsheet for the most part about what your opponent's using. First of all, you know what Pokemon they're using, what moves they have, you know the items. I think they even know the Eves and Ives. I'm not 100% sure that myself, but you know basically all the knowledge you could ever need to worry about in Pokemon. But Yu-Gi-Oh has the opposite problem, where you don't know anything. You have to worry about 5 cards in their hand that may screw you over for the whole game, and you will not know. And it gets worse because, yeah, there are some cards that allow you to know what's in their hand, but for the most part, that's bad for the game, so that's just banned in general. And some of those cards that do something like that are limited or just very, very situational to the point where no one just plays it. And secondly, you also gotta worry about your starting hand, because sure, you can get the best cards, the best combos you could ever work with, or you just break, in which case you are absolutely screwed. And there are so many cards with so many archetypes to play against, and there are some that just counter others. But then the worst part, and what pisses me off the most, is that every deck that is meta tends to have what I like to call a bullshit card. But they keep it what it is. We're gonna keep it simple and call it the BS card for the people who want to get monetized. Well, a BS card is what you expect it to be. A card with effects that have BS to it that makes the game unenjoyable. The ones that usually piss me off tend to be negations, banishment, and worst of all, bouncing. And what is worse than one BS card? Multiple BS cards. Oh, you want to add a card to your hand? Take this lolly and get negated. Oh, you somehow negated my lolly? Oh, I have a draw and lock, which is 10 times worse, because instead of not being able to add one card, you can no longer add cards to the rest of your turn. Oh, you activated an effect? Let's just banish it to be never seen again. Oh, you wanted to put something in your graveyard. Oh yeah, I had my dimensional shifter earlier screw you over, so now anything that goes to the grave, banished. Oh, you summoned your boss monster after spending like 2 to 3 minutes making this big bastard. Oh, I just have an effect that tributes or bounces it, resulting in all your efforts to make that card worthless. And then you suffer from watching your opponent summon the same generic extra deck monsters to their field with 20 different BS effects each, and having to watch them do the combo that takes like 20 minutes, or at least feels like 20 minutes, knowing damn well you can do nothing, even when you think, oh, I could just hard cards this BS. Nope, you cannot. There is no heart of the cards BS to save you from your opponent's BS. But the thing is that Yu-Gi-Oh, what I believe veterans would know, is that everyone is going to probably mention the elephant in the room. Better yet, the money bag in the room. Because I do indeed own physical Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and at this point, I've only talked about the game itself from the perspective of players who play Master Duel and digital card games. But I have not yet mentioned the price tag when you are playing cardboard cards. Every card costs money, and some may only cost you like a couple cents, but there are others, especially the good stuff and new stuff, tend to cost tens of dollars. Which, sure, you may think tens of dollars isn't that bad, but then you gotta think about it. These cards cost tens of dollars. Then you gotta realize, oh shite, there are multiple cards that I need to put that are tens of dollars, so as a result, it ends up making a deck that's worth hundreds of dollars. An example of this deck is one that won a regional. This is very old by now, but here's a deck that I looked in Yugioh Meta that was around $149.74. And that's a lot. However, when I went to do this on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, in a case where I wanted to replicate the deck myself, it cost around $279.83, or €197.65. And considering that some of the cards aren't in the market when I was looking this up, like some of these cards I couldn't even find on the market, so these cards could have been over $300 by the end total of my deck. And some of these cards, yeah, they've been better because nowadays Yu-Gi-Oh! And Konami tend to like reprint these, which is good for us. But then there are just newer cards that, you know, you're gonna have to suffer through because they're high rarity and cost a lot of money. This definitely helps for the collectors, but at the very least, this isn't like the Pokemon TCG where people are breaking into businesses, putting trackers onto cars, and just straight up robbing people for stupid Pokemon cards. So honestly, I hope to God that Logan Paul just shuts the fuck up and never touches Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he just can't read what the hell half these cards do, so that Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't end up like this either. Because listen, I went to a Walmart the other day, and there were so many cards filled up. Yu-Gi-Oh! Basketball, Digimon, One Piece, all that stuff, barely touched. But you know what's absolutely empty? You guessed it, Pokemon. And it sucks because there are scalpers buying and selling these Pokemon cards, and they don't even love Pokemon. Hell no, they just want a fucking profit. Thank you very much for listening to my Take Talk. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Which, if you did make it this far, I actually have one more thing to mention, which is, hey, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, you never mentioned Cuphead. That's because I've never played Cuphead once in my life. I've seen people play this and lose their damn minds over it, but I have never made an attempt to play this game. Until now, because by the time I have uploaded this video, an hour later from its upload, I will live stream this game on the day of. So hey, if you want to see me get pissed off maybe, which honestly, I kind of hope so, because honestly, I can't not wait to play this, because I've seen people get pissed off, and I want to enjoy it for myself. So, if you want to see me get pissed off right there, or hey, maybe you're an hour late, so you probably are seeing the live stream right there, go click it. But hey, if you still here, thank you very much for watching to this very moment, and furthermore, adieu.